The experiences discussed in this video are my own personal experiences and do not reflect the entire Jewish religion. The Jewish religion, like any other religion, has people that practice to all different extents. I grew up in a small extremist community that functions as a cult. Just like Christianity is a religion that has communities that function as a cult, Judaism does too. If you disagree, feel free to come and debate me. Also, the fact that you have access to the internet and you're even seeing this right now means you're not currently in the cult, so back the HE double hockey stick off.
Okay, we're back, bitches. We are back. We're back, bitches. We're back. I don't know what the hell just happened, but I was in the middle of explaining that. So I got this invitation from TikTok to use TikTok Studio to go live on my computer instead of going live on my phone, which would be great because I have people who want to join from Discord and people who want to join from other oh god, it sounds like my dog's about to throw up. 1 second. Jasper, what's going on? What's going on, buddy? What's going on? Why does it sound like you're about to throw up? Oh god. Hey. Oh god. Ooh, he just threw up. Okay, let's move you away from here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Here we go. Let's clean it up. It's okay, buddy. Oh, you still sound like you're about to throw up. What's going on? What's going on, buddy? Oh, what's going on, honey? Oh, are you sick? Don't eat it. I know, buddy. Oh, buddy, poor baby. Poor baby, honey. Okay, let's keep you away from food now. Let's keep you away from food. I know. Oh, that was so sad. What just happened? Oh, what just happened? Oh, you threw up. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna have to. That's so sad. I don't know if you saw or heard what was going on, but my dog just threw up. Oh, thank you for the donuts in honor of Hanukkah. I don't know if you just heard what just happened. My dog just threw up, so I am going to give him lots of love and attention right now. I don't know why he just threw up. It's about... He ate breakfast at like 8 a.m. and now it's 2:30 p.m. So it's 6 hours since he ate breakfast. Like, why is he throwing up now? He hasn't eaten anything since... What's going on, buddy? Since breakfast. So I don't even know. Hi, I know. I don't know what's going on. You know what? I might try to continue this live and just keep an eye on him and see what's happening with that. Because right now he's like wagging his tail and playing with a toy now. Like he doesn't need any help. So he doesn't really want... I don't know what's going on. We're gonna try and see what's going on with him. But I did want to show you guys. So yeah, if oh wait, somebody's inviting me to join. The hell not. Hello. Hello? Or not. Goodbye.
May not 100% correctly represent what the religion is saying and teaching.
Okay, so we
Does
have
it make sense?
Muslim sisters in the chat right now, right, who actually invited me in here. And I tell you something, if you ask any of them, are you oppressed? Ask Muslim women from virtually any other country, are you oppressed? And do you know what their answer will be? No, we're empowered.
Okay, then
We've
what
always
about
been empowered.
Iran?
Iran is an anomalous country, I'll agree with you. They're not following the Islamic law.
South
But I don't
Africa.
even want to know about oppression. You
One
came
second,
on and started.
Let him finish. Sorry, Sip.
Go
Let
ahead.
him finish his. Yeah, I made him not
Yeah.
interrupt. Now let him finish his thought. Yeah.
Yes, Iran is anomalous. There are anomalous countries out there. World leaders have their own agendas, like I said. But you look at places like Indonesia, you look at Malaysia, right? Predominantly Muslim, right? You never hear about them. Why? Because they're not controversial. We only hear about the controversial things.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm
1 second. I want Sip to go, and then I'm gonna respond to that because I very much
I
disagree
want
with
to say
that. But
something
Sip,
so
you
bad
can go.
too. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a
Yeah.
question on, you came up in the beginning, you started saying that gender shouldn't be a thing, we should all be gender neutral,
Mhm.
which to that point I very strongly agree with. Now I'm not going to speak on like Muslim women because I'm going to speak on the religion that I was brought up in, Judaism. If you ask a lot of Jewish religious women, they're going to say that they're not oppressed. However, gender plays a huge role in that, and the entire religion is not based off of being gender neutral. There's different laws of what women do with their day. There's different laws of what women wear. So I don't understand are the 2 points related, or is it two completely separate points?
I think they're two completely separate because if you think about some of the Judaic laws, women have to walk behind their men. You know, things like that.
What?
Yeah, seriously. If you look at some of the
That's
traditional Jewish laws.
1 second. We grew up Jewish. It's not a Jewish law. It's a practice that one cult has put into place. That is not a Jewish law.
Okay, I apologize. I
That's like
my
comparing all Muslim women to the woman in Iran. That's a very bad comparison, but continue.
Okay, so I take your point. I'm not a Jew, so therefore I cannot comment on Jewish practices. But what I can comment on are Muslim practices. And I'm sure a lot of the Muslim sisters who are waiting to speak to you
Are you
guys are
Muslim?
happy to tell you. Yes, I'm Muslim.
Okay.
I'm going to
they're
go
happy to
off
tell
so
you.
that some other people could
Yeah.
come on then, if there's others waiting to
Sure.
come on.
I don't
All
think
right.
anybody is waiting, but okay. Sorry, Gazesh, continue, and then I have a response, but I just want you to finish what you're saying.
Yeah, so a lot of Muslim women would be happy to tell you that they actually live quite a liberated life, and they do.
Oh,
And
okay,
Islam
so
has. Sorry, I just want to
The
allow my friend.
religion is liberating them, but you are not making the distinction between what the religion, who's not a person, is is like telling,
You're
versus
focused on
what
this not a
humans
person
do
thing,
to
but I've just told
humans.
you that in Malaysia there's millions of thousands of people who practice this. You're focusing on Iran because it's controversial right now.
Huh?
okay, but
Yeah.
let's pause and go back to the point that my sister was bringing up, which is we grew up in Judaism, and you ask any religious Jew, not the ones that are in a cult, religious women Jews, are they being oppressed? Are they anything like that? No, they will say no.
Could you
Because
explain to me as a layperson what the difference is between the cult Jew and
Can you let her finish, please? Thank you.
I'm just asking for
sure.
clarification.
Sure. What makes a cult? I like to go by the BITE model, which stands for behavioral information, thought, and emotional control. Behavioral control are rules. Basically, all religions have them. They were a bit stricter from the second we woke up to the second we went to bed. Everything had to be done in a very specific way. The order we got dressed in, the order we cut our nail, everything. Information control, going to schools. Things were blacked out in books, weren't allowed access to the internet, weren't allowed to listen to non-Jewish music, watch non-Jewish movies. Our parents weren't allowed access to the internet either. And then thought and emotional control kind of overlap. They have to do with brainwashing, thoughts and emotions that you're told to have without any logic behind it. Yeah. Thought control had to do with like comparing a strip club to going to a baseball game as compared to a strip club, going to a strip club. And emotional control was being told that if you pass somebody who's not Jewish on the street, they don't unalive you or harm you, it's not because they don't want to, it's because they are either afraid of going to prison or they're too lazy to follow through with the plans. So that's what I define as a cult. And then everything else, Judaism is a huge spectrum, just like Christianity, it's a huge spectrum. Not all Christians are in a cult. However, Mormonism, the Mennonite community, Amish, they function as a cult. So same thing with Judaism. Hasidic Judaism functions as a cult.
I really didn't know that. That's fascinating and horrible at the same time. I'm really sorry you had to go through that.
Thank you. But to get back to the point though, when you ask religious Jewish women if they feel oppressed in any way, they'll say no. However, under Jewish law, there are some they're told it's because women are more holy, which I was told in Islam it's the same thing, where women are more holy, so you have to protect them more, so they have to dress modestly. Within Judaism, they can't sing in front of men. They have to be in a separate part of the synagogue. They are home. They're not required to do all of the laws, everything like that. Even though they don't feel oppressed, from an objective perspective, they are seen as less than. And the same thing with Islam, even though the religious ones, the ones who have to wear hijabs and stuff like that, even though they might not feel oppressed, from an objective perspective, they are. Although I have no problem with anyone practicing any religion they want to, when they start forcing it onto people, that's when I have the issue.
See, I take issue with you using the word objective because that is highly subjective. Highly subjective.
Okay.
It's not objective at all. Objective would mean it's unanimously decided and agreed upon. Subjective is opinion based, which you're entitled to. You're entitled to think that, you know, these women are oppressed. But if you ask them and if you see how they live, they will tell you otherwise, and they will prove to you
But if you
otherwise.
would have asked me if I was oppressed while I was in there, I would have said no, and I would have fought you tooth and nail. If somebody would have used the word cult, if somebody would have told me I was oppressed because I couldn't say, I would be like, no, you're ridiculous, and I would have fought them tooth and nail. However, after years of therapy, after years of working on myself, I've come to realize that, yes, I am oppressed. Like somebody said in the comments, Stockholm Syndrome. Yes, I was oppressed, and women
That was
were
something
oppressed
I
in
was
that
going to say
situation.
as well, because when I was in the Mennonite community, I would have, if you would have asked me the way you're dressing and all of the stuff, do you feel oppressed? And I would absolutely tell you no, and I would absolutely tell you that it was a choice, when in reality it was not a choice. I mean, when you weigh the options, if I don't do this, then I have no one and I'm shunned from the community. It's really not a choice at that point. But I would have thought it was a choice if you asked me.
See, okay. I mean, I appreciate your respective experiences, and you know, I sympathize with you tremendously, and I really hope that you've healed from your experiences, you know. But looking from my perspective, I'm a Muslim man. Okay, I only have the experience of a Muslim man and the experiences that others tell me about, so it's going to be somewhat hearsay, but nonetheless it's I still class it as valid. Now I think that what you've got to take into consideration is that the opinions of Muslim women are going to be significantly different from what I've seen. Okay, and this is just based on TikTok and
Wow.
based upon, you know,
Can you explain to me
my
how when someone is
experiences.
in, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah,
but can you explain to me how it's different based on, if I was, let's say I'm still in the Mennonite community,
yeah,
based on what I would say, how is it different?
because you're not a Muslim woman, my sister, so you'll never know
The
what it
only
feels like to
difference
be
But
is
now
one.
you're
I'm
not
not
a
Okay,
Muslim.
Muslim.
so I want
You're
to
not
ask
a
something.
Muslim woman.
What?
You're not a
You're right.
Muslim woman. How are
You're
you
right.
speaking on a woman's experience if you're not a woman? Like,
Do I not live with Muslim women? Do I not see
But
them
yeah,
you are
but
not
daily
a
you are
Muslim
not a
firsthand? Do I
woman.
not
Muslim
have
woman.
sisters? Do I not have a mother? Do I not have a wife?
Yeah,
You know,
but you
all of
don't
these
have the
things.
experience of a Muslim woman.
Not firsthand experience, but
Yeah,
when you witness something, you know, in court, you can give testimony on that. Is that not true?
yeah, that's your subjective opinion.
Testimony is based upon firsthand experience,
Yeah, your subjective
eyewitnessing.
experience. What you think
I
they
never said
feel.
it wasn't objective. I said it was subjective, and this is something I
Yes.
established from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is subjective,
Okay, then
but
I
Yeah,
this
want
is
to
what I'm
ask
and the
you
saying.
juror
something.
I
takes
think
that
you need to,
information
yeah.
and tries to determine whether or not that witness account is viable or not, because it is subjective.
Sorry, can you say that again for me, please?
You used an example that you could go to court and be a witness based on you observing someone else's experience. And my point is, I don't feel like that's quite accurate, because even when a witness gives the statement, it is then scrutinized and decided whether or not, based on that witness experience, whether it's not viable or not.
To be
A
accurate,
juror and that sort of stuff decides that because it is subjective.
if I may correct you, in fact, when it comes to evidence, evidence is scrutinized before it actually gets to the courtroom. So you decide whether or not somebody is a reliable witness or not before they get to the courtroom. And I know this because this is my field of practice. That's what I do for a living.
And then at that point, does not a when it's in trial, does not a jury decide whether or not that witness statement goes into whether or not the case is true and if that's viable as well?
Admissibility, right, is based upon whether or not somebody has an element of bias, number one, if they have witnessed the event, and whether or not they have actually witnessed the event. Now, there's no argument whether or not I've witnessed the event, because I'm in my late 30s and I've grown up with two sisters and a mother, and I'm married. Therefore, I have enough experience, should I say, in the Muslim community to be able to say this is what I've observed of Muslim women. I'm not saying that
But
I've
did you ever
experienced the
ask
life of a
them
Okay,
how
Muslim.
does it feel to
so
be
I
a
have a
Muslim woman?
question though. Sorry, before what was your point in bringing that up? Because like I'm thinking, I was like defending right away, but I got to thinking like I don't think anybody here has ever said that Muslim women are oppressed or anything
Yeah.
like that. Like I have no issue with anybody practicing any other religion. So I'm just curious, like as soon as you brought it up, I don't know why I felt the need to debate, because when I'm in debate mode, I always play devil's advocate and whatever. And yes, I think some women can be oppressed and some women can love it, and that's their choice. That's totally fine. But I don't get what made you bring it up?
Okay, so
Was somebody
in
saying
terms
it?
of, if you're empowering somebody, right, you give them the choice to do what they want to do, right? If you're empowering
Sure.
somebody, so in order for feminism to fit its true definition, right, women have to be empowered to be allowed to do whatever they wish to do. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Okay,
Um,
so
it depends on the setting. Like, what setting are you? Can you give me an example?
I've given you my statement. You've just said it depends. So I would turn to you for your example, actually, in fact.
Well, yeah, like for instance, when I was bringing up that I was in a Mennonite community, like
Yeah.
there was a lot of things that they told me that would support me thinking that I was not experiencing something, and that was very much not a reality. I mean, so it just really, I think that's also, when you say subjective and objective, that's a very subjective thing to say as well.
I agree. No, I don't disagree with you. You're right. I can't speak on the Mennonite community, but equally, none of you can speak on the Muslim community. This is why I think it's important that you
I
have a Muslim
can.
sister up here.
I literally have family.
You know?
My whole family is Muslim. My great grandfather was a Hafiz, so I can.
Zayda, we've spoken before.
But
We've spoken before.
1 second. But Zesh, you came up here and made a general statement. Ask any Muslim woman if she's like, no, none of us brought up Muslim women being oppressed. You came up here, you made a general statement saying, ask any Muslim woman if she's oppressed and she'll say no. That's a very general statement, and I disagree with you because each person is an individual. And some might say yes, some might say no. So yes, that's why we're arguing with you. But
sister, first of all, you're misquoting me. I didn't say any. There will be exceptions. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule.
No, honey,
but the majority will tell you that they're not oppressed.
But how did you ask the majority?
That's a very general statement. So
why don't you
again,
bring up
what
a
was your
Muslim
point
sister?
in bringing up that general statement? Because we weren't talking about Muslim women being oppressed. Like that wasn't a conversation.
There's Val Ali in the chat. There's Huda in the chat. There's a couple of others in the chat. Feel free to bring any of them up.
No, but let me ask you one thing.
I mean, they should request. If they request, I'll bring them up. That's fine.
When you say most,
yes, because we originally were talking about pronouns and gender roles, and then somehow you threw that in there, and I'm not really sure how they correlate.
I think when we were talking about Sister Faye's experience in the Hasidic community, we started doing comparison between subjective and objective, and that what led on to me comparing my experience, which I can only speak of my experience because I can't speak of any other community.
So you felt like because someone had expressed that they were oppressed in their religion, that you felt at that point, Muslim women are not oppressed. That was kind
I
of what
think
you're.
no. I think you're twisting it there. So the sister gave the impression, right, that she was saying that she speaks from the Hasidic community, which is fair enough. And all I was clarifying is that not every community works the same. The Hasidic community and the Muslim community are like chalk and cheese.
No, again, wait a second. Jazesh, let me ask you this again. You do know yourself there is no such thing as Muslim community. There are within the Muslim world different movements, different groups,
I beg to
different.
differ. There's a huge
What?
Muslim
That's
community.
that's true.
You can see it on
What
TikTok.
the hell are you saying? In Turkey alone, there
You
are
can speak from
so
Turkey.
many
I'm speaking from
different
the UK
movements.
perspective. Yeah, the Turkey, again, given the involvement of Ataturk and the Alawi influences, we consider it anomalous.
Oh my
So is
God.
it fair to say
Did you
that
read
you
the
should only be
Quran?
able to speak from the UK Muslim experience because you
Yeah,
haven't experienced it other places and what
I
women
have
have gone
experienced it
through?
other
So,
places. I
so
have
I think
experienced it
that
other
it would be
places.
more accurate for you to say, based on my observations, women in UK that practice Muslim don't appear to be oppressed,
I've
and that you leave it
experienced
at
it in
that.
7 different countries.
Dude,
So
do
can
you
I ask the
wait a
brother a
second?
question?
Let me ask this again. Zesh, you do realize that the Muslim world is literally divided in two since Muhammad died, Sunni and Shia.
And
What
how
the hell
much,
are you
what
saying?
percentage of Shia makes up the Muslim community, my sister?
It
Do you
doesn't
know?
matter. The
It
Muslim world
does.
is not
It
one.
does. And
It
what
still
does the
does not
hadith
make
say
the
about
Muslim world
what does the
one.
hadith say about following the majority
But you
and
know what
about the
you're
Muslims
doing?
keeping the
You are
ummah as one?
saying you are saying this.
You're
There
dividing
is
the
a
ummah, sister.
shepherd. No, let me finish. There is a
Let
shepherd,
him
and
let him finish.
he has 100 white sheep, and he has a single black sheep. And instead of saying he has mostly white sheep and
Look at
one
the
black
comments.
sheep, you are saying all of them are white sheep just because it's just one black sheep. He doesn't count.
Look at the statistics, sister. You wouldn't class the an obscure fringe group as the representation of Christianity or
What
Judaism, would you?
But
statistics
yet
can I
that's
look
why you
at?
can't say Muslim
Can you
world.
give me a source? Because I want to look at them right now. You says look at the statistics.
Yeah.
What statistics?
In terms of what percentage of Muslims are Sunni and what percentage are Shia and other denominations, the majority are Sunni. The majority follow the same ruling.
Yeah, but that's exactly why you can't
You know
say
I'm going to
all
Google that right
Muslims
now,
or the
right?
Muslim people or
Fine, go ahead.
us Muslims.
I don't see why you
One
wouldn't.
second, I'm
I
switching
encourage you
this
to
guy.
Google it.
You
One
are
second, I want to
generalizing.
accept Zeno in here. One second. By the way, for those of you who
Yeah.
are saying I'm Islamophobic or anything like that, Zeno, please attest that I'm not Islamophobic.
Oh, hey
Not
Please.
everybody.
I
Yeah,
don't
Islamophobic.
think
I've just
anybody in
been
here is
I've just been
anything
listening
No,
ophobic.
for the
some people
last.
in the comments were saying that.
Oh no no
No,
no.
God,
no.
Faye is
ridiculous.
Can I talk?
She's
Or is it
Yes.
somebody?
Yeah, go
Oh yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to say first of all, Faye is not Islamophobic. She's as far as from it as anybody. But there was a
Thank
few
you.
things I just wanted to fact check.
yep.
One,
Yes.
the Islamic world is not split up into over
No.
87% are Sunnis and the rest are Shias. So between
Exactly.
8 to
Thank you, brother.
13%. That's not true. And I think the problem with this conversation is we are associating what people do to what the religion teaches. Those are not the two
100%.
same things.
100%.
No,
So
I was
100%.
literally
I agree.
saying that you
Okay,
have to
well, I'll let you
differentiate.
speak. I'll let you speak. I just came in a minute ago. I just want to say something, and then I'm going because I'm celebrating Argentina's win. But I just came in to say this. The only thing I wanted to say is, if you want to focus on Islam and its teachings and evaluate that, then by no means go ahead. We can stand up to that scrutiny. But if you want to say what certain cultures do with and how they have their culture inputted into the religion, that's a whole different conversation. Like you said, you're from Turkey. I'm sure there's bad things that happen in Turkey.
No, I'm
We
not
see things
Turkish.
happening in Iran. We see things happening all over the world in every community. That is not always a representation of the religion. So if you want to talk about Islam, talk about Islam. If you want to talk about Muslims, talk about Muslims. Those two cannot be
But
convoluted.
Zeno,
But
I
The,
think
that's
you're
the,
missing the point. One
uh,
second, Zeno, I think you're missing the point. The point was we were talking about pronouns or something, and then he makes a random comment. If you ask any Muslim woman if they're oppressed, they'll say
It wasn't a
no.
random comment.
So
It wasn't a random comment.
in
that's
my defense, I wasn't there for that. I just heard the last 5 minutes
right.
and the
Okay.
argument about so that's what I was reacting to.
Oh, okay.
I've just come in now. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
We need to separate and fact check certain things that are being said here.
I agree. I don't think it's a religious thing. I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And the communities, they push things onto people. No matter
Yeah.
what religion you're in, the communities will push things onto people. So it doesn't matter. Like, again, if you ask religious Jew, if you would have asked me while I was in the cult whether I was oppressed or not, I would have said no. But again, communities push things onto people no matter what religion it is. I don't know how we got into like this whole debate thing, but we can continue. But yeah, I just though before you talk, I want to hear from this new person, and then we'll continue. Because I still have more people waiting. Sabzo, you're on mute.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, so I'll keep it brief. I just want to say Macy's the GOAT, and thank you.
I'm with you there, brother.
That was silly.
Wow, that was okay.
Okay.
Let me add somebody else in. But now, whoever wanted to talk, I guess. I know, Graybird, you wanted to talk.
I just wanted to remind people that very in the beginning I said that myself, that there's a difference between the religion and the people. So the religion is not oppressing the people, but the people who practice the religion are oppressing each other, maybe depending on where they are. That's literally what I tried to say the whole time.
Mhm.
And when you say
My
there is no
response is they're not
oppression in the
practicing the
Muslim
religion.
world,
I did
that's not
Google
true.
it. And I don't know how to say everything, and I'm really, really sorry. So pronounce, correct me. How do you properly say SHIA?
Shia.
Shia.
Okay, yeah. So
Like a
it
chia
did
pet,
say
but
that.
Shia.
Yeah. So 68 to 80% are in the four countries: Iran.
Yeah.
So it's very much it's very much also a culture and where you are.
So it's a minority.
Yeah.
It's a minority. It's the minority in those countries. And
Okay.
you're exactly right, Deirdre. It literally
Yeah.
is endemic in that area. It's generally found in Iraq, Iran, Turkey, a couple of other countries around there. They're generally they're
Yeah,
focused
not
in that
Turkey.
area.
It was India and Pakistan. Those are the four countries.
Pakistan's
I do want
90%
to
Muslim.
though let
90% Sunni.
sorry, this new person talk. They're here. I want to let them talk, and then we can. Hello. I don't know what your name is. You
1, 2, 4, 5, 4.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's up?
So I'm actually Muslim, and I wanted to say some things to Zash 2.0, I guess. Some stuff that I didn't agree with that he was mentioning that I don't understand the link between. So he was saying how if you ask majority of Muslim women, they will say they're not oppressed, and then he went on to mention about Shia and Sunni women and how like they're divided and Sunni are more. So I just want to know how does that relate to what you were saying about Muslim women and whether they're oppressed or not.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it didn't relate to how they were oppressed or not. It was I can't even remember how it came up, but somebody said that
It was me. I said that we
yeah,
are not one. We are
we're not
divided
one.
amongst each
Yeah.
other.
So what I said was there's a hadith. The Sunnis have a hadith to follow the majority, right? And at the moment, the majority are the Sunnis. If you look statistically throughout the world, the Sunnis are the majority. I don't know how that's incorrect. You know, because literally the Office of National Statistics in the UK backs me up. You know, that's all it was. It wasn't anything. I'm not disparaging Sunnis or Shias or anybody. I'm just saying that they're the minority when it comes to denominations within Islam compared to Sunnis.
Okay, I also wanted to mention the fact that Sunni people aren't just like Sunni, there's like different madhabs, so people
Yeah.
follow different sects of each part.
We are all Ahl
Even
Sunnah
Shia
wal Jama'ah.
people,
All the Sunnis
yeah,
are
we're all
Ahl Sunnah wal
Muslims in the
Jama'ah.
end
Okay,
of the
let her
day.
speak, I am.
Let her finish her
That's not
sentence.
correct. That's not
I
correct.
am. Please let her finish
Shi-
speaking.
Shia people are not just like Shia, there's divided people. For example, there's people that are Muslims and only believe in the book, as in the Quran. They don't believe in anything else, they just believe that, okay, here's the book, this is what I should believe. And then there's people that, disregard some prophets, disregard some companions. So they're not all the same. But I just
Can
want
I
to
answer
say
that
that,
question?
like, sure.
Wait, let her finish her thought
Yeah,
and
when
then.
she's done, I'll answer.
Oh no, it's okay. You can carry on.
Okay, well, those people that you're describing, they're not considered a part of the Muslim Ummah. For example, people
Exactly.
that only take the Quran or people that reject some prophets. According to scholarly consensus, they are not a part of the Ummah, so they wouldn't be counted among that number. The second point is
Yeah.
following a different madhab. For example, Hanbali, Maliki, Shafi'i, they are still all considered Sunnis and
Ahl
they still
Sunnah wal
follow the
Jama'ah.
same rulings and the same ways to get to the rulings, minus the last 2 or 3 steps, which are very far down the line. But no, they agree on 95% of things, especially the important things. It's really small rulings that they differ in large majority. That's it. So they are all considered Sunni.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a question on that then. You just said though, what do you mean by they're not counted as Muslims?
Because the Islamic creed, you cannot reject any of the prophets
Yes.
or any of their teachings. If not, you're not considered a Muslim.
But they say they
Um,
are Muslims.
but
The
but I
Quran
thought
says,
Yeah,
the
so
"Amana
what?
last
There's
I
people
Rasulu
thought
that
the
say
bima
they're all
last
sorts of
unzila
things.
prophet was
ilayhi wal
Muhammad
mu'minun."
though.
Right?
Yeah,
So
no,
the
but Prophet Muhammad
yeah,
said this. He told us the 6 things that are most important for everybody to
yes.
believe. The fourth thing, sorry, or the third thing is to believe in all the prophets. So if the scenario she's describing, for example, if a Muslim rejects Jesus, by Prophet Muhammad's standard, that person is not a Muslim, so they are not accounted a part of the Muslim Ummah.
The Quran says, "Kullun
Interesting.
amana billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusuli la nufarriqu bayna ahadin min rusuli wa qalu sami'na wa ata'na ghufranaka rabbana wa ilaykal masir." We draw no distinctions between the prophets. We draw no distinctions between them.
Cool.
To be honest, I've never met somebody who doesn't accept all the prophets, by
Me
the way,
neither.
anyway. I've never met a person. So I'm not
No,
sure
don't you know these
what
people
type of
in
people you're.
Turkey who don't
That
go to the
reject
mosque?
who? Jesus or Moses? Who do they reject?
The Quran itself says to follow the example of the Prophet.
Yeah,
So
I
how can
highly
you
doubt
reject
there's
him?
anybody that's ever rejected a prophet that's mentioned in the Quran. That obviously that would make them a non-Muslim.
So why
Exactly.
even bring it up?
I think I
I
only
didn't bring
know
it up.
people that
I was
reject
responding to the
Sahaba.
question from the sister.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I've only personally heard of slash met some people that reject some of the Sahaba, and most of the time they're Shia. So there's some
Yeah, but
Sahaba that
the
they
Sahaba are not
dislike.
prophets. We're talking about
Yes.
prophets here.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the
yeah, but I
Shias,
think most
we
people
differ on the
accept all
political side
prophets.
of things after the death of Prophet Muhammad. So, but that has nothing to do with the prophets. The prophets are a part of every Muslim's creed. There are certain things that you cannot violate, and if you do, you're not considered Muslim. That's
Yeah.
not my word. That's the word of the consensus of the Islamic Ummah and Prophet Muhammad himself.
A political divide does not remove you from the faith. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's why we consider Shias Muslim.
Yeah.
then can I just bring the talk back to, because I want to know what you guys think about this, if that's okay, host. Do you guys believe that believing in only a single religion 100% and you don't know about any other religion, does that make you close-minded?
I mean, I've been through this 100 times in this chat, so I'll let Zesh take that one.
I've studied most theologies that I've come across, and I'm always open-minded. If you can convince me that something's right, I will accept it. And I think I've proven that I've been quite open-minded and accepting of different views.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you here when this lady Amina was here?
No.
There was this lady who was saying that because of the faith, because of the Islamic faith, if she advises her friend who comes out as gay or something, that's a sin, and she still like follows her life choices, then she, because that person is not following her faith, she will then reject that friend.
Maybe that's a test from God for that person. Who knows?
We don't consider a sin as taking you outside the fold of Islam, by the way. So if you're gay or if you drink alcohol or whatever, we don't consider
No,
that
I'm
taking you
asking you guys
Shirk
as a
takes
personally
you out of
non-Muslim.
what
the
you
fold.
think. In
Shirk.
my family, we don't do that. For example, we may have at home, my father may say, "Gosh, I can't believe that my friend turned gay." He will still be friends with him
Yeah, of
as
course.
long as
Well,
he
listen,
Yeah,
doesn't.
what
Yeah.
the Quran
that's the way
says.
it's done.
Yeah, the Quran says, "قل هو الله no, قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم لكم دينكم ولي دين." And when it says لكم دينكم ولي دين, it's referring to all belief systems, not just your religious beliefs. Right? So for those who don't speak Arabic, what that basically means is all ye who don't believe, right? This is my belief, that's your belief. You to your belief, me to mine. In other words, live and let live.
Exactly. As long as they don't force you to follow them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Allah says in the Quran,
the,
La
And
ikrah fi
then
din. There is
another,
no compulsion in religion.
So
however,
you,
another
yeah.
issue I had with her also was, I think you pointed it out, the way she was using advise. Like if somebody was doing something wrong, she would go up to them and tell them to do it her way, the way she believed was right. That I think is very wrong, even when people believe in the religion, to go give unsolicited advice to someone
no,
else,
so
because you do what they perceive, what
Yeah.
they're doing, what you
yeah.
perceive as a
Yeah, I
sin.
So
agree.
how I said that was that I told her advice is something, for example, if a friend, if a brother or a sister comes to you and they tell you about it, like for example, they come out to you, right? So for the first time they come out to you and you realize they are not straight. In that moment, usually if someone comes out to you, the way they come out to you may be them trying to understand what you think about them. So in that moment, you can give them advice because they literally give you the room, the space to give your spice to whatever they are telling you, right?
I
But if they
disagree with
never
that
talk to you,
100%.
no, wait, and if they never talk to you, if they never said anything, you just kind of found out that they are homosexual and you go to them and give them advice, even though they never asked you for it. Like that, this difference, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
We have a
so
duty as Muslims.
really quick, I would say that a majority of what I'm going to say, the LGBT community would agree with this. If you are in a religion that you know that is against um who you are, and you go to someone and you finally are able to tell them who you really are, I guarantee you that them coming out to you isn't to get your opinion on it, it's to tell
Hmm.
their truth.
Mm,
100%.
Yes,
100%. I agree with
I
you.
agree
But
with you.
yeah,
the problem is the
I was just trying to
taking
create
of.
an example. Gosh, it was a bad one, but
Sorry, no, I'm just trying to answer your question. So the problem is that if you parallel religion with lifestyle, you'll find that most religions don't accept that form of lifestyle. In fact,
Mm.
if you look at you as a sister
It's not a
who's been a
lifestyle.
Hasidic Jew, know the punishment for homosexuality. You know, it's about, I think it's stoning to death, isn't it? You know,
No,
Um,
So we were
it's not.
no,
talking about
but
when
okay.
it's okay to give advice. Like, do
Um,
you give
So
advice without
can I
being
finish, please,
asked,
sister?
or oh,
You've
sorry,
interrupted me again. So
I
right,
didn't.
so
You were not done.
sorry, I've lost my train of thought. So I was talking about how sorry, what was I saying again? I've lost my train of thought.
The
about
Hasidic,
advice.
Yeah,
oh, they will
so
go to hell.
we as Muslims, right, have a slightly different set of rules, and if it is a religious thing where we have to, if we see somebody doing something that is against Islam and they class themselves as a Muslim, we have a duty to point it out to them, not in a bad way, not to say why are you doing this, you know. It's like the thing. The first is with the mind, the second is with the mouth, the third is with the hand, you know. So like when I say that, it means that if you think it, you know, you think somebody's doing wrong, that's the first step, you know. The second step is to say something to them, right? And if you can intervene and help them, you know.
Mm.
this is
But
this is the
this is the
thinking behind
thing.
it.
This is the thing. If they grew up within your religion, they
Yeah,
know the rules about it. You telling them is not going to change anything. It will actually harm them emotionally. And what Graybird was saying before, when that
mm,
other girl was on as well, was that if you're trying to follow a God who's about peace and love
yeah.
and happiness,
Because that's
then you
what she
should
said.
not be the one. You should not be the one putting someone through emotional damage and emotional harm. If they grew up in your religion, they know what your religion thinks about who they are as a
It,
person.
the
To
problem
go add on top of that and emotionally damage that on top of that, because like I don't want to get too personal with anything, but somebody before mentioned
Mhm.
that they were married to someone who was gay, who ended up unaliving themselves, and they were super religious.
Mhm.
It's it the emotional damage that it does to someone, you can't even begin to understand it.
Yeah, but you're presupposing that I'm doing it in a nasty way.
Oh no,
No,
so what
no, it
happened
doesn't
with
even have
her?
to be in a nasty way. It doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be in a nasty way, because even just saying, I don't agree with your lifestyle.
But you don't have
I
to say
think
that.
you should rethink about it. Any other, even a nice way. They need at that moment your support as a person. You
I
don't
just
have to
want
But you can
to.
support
still
who they're
support
married.
them.
They need your support as a
So
person
yeah, the
to
thing
Right.
is,
know that you're their safe place.
Okay, so me
the
as a
thing that
Good
smoker,
Wait,
happened
I
was
just
point.
right?
want
Because
to
if
ask
that.
a
Can I
someone is
question.
coming
clarify?
to you
Wow.
Can
in
I
that
clarify?
religion and telling you that they're wanting your support, that's why they're telling you that.
And I'm not denying that. I've
So
not
what?
denied that. You can still give
The,
them the support.
Oh,
But what I'm
thank
saying
you.
to you,
no,
please
the
let me
thing is,
finish.
wait.
Let me
Before you
finish. Please
continue,
let me
let me
finish.
One second.
let me
Say that you keep
clarify
interrupting
because
me.
I was
It's getting
misquoted.
annoying.
Huh?
Say that you keep
Wait.
interrupting me. Please don't disrespect me like that.
No, we
Please.
talked at the same time, literally.
So, as I was saying before, right, it's like me. If I'm a smoker, right,
Oh my
I
god.
smoke, I vape, right. So I have people tell me, listen, you shouldn't have a cigarette. You know, it's not good for you. Is that
Mm-mm.
a bad thing or a good thing?
There's a huge difference between the two, and I'm going to tell you
One
what it
second.
is. You are not born a smoker. You are not born to have that condition where you smoke. That's a choice. You are born gay.
Actually, I
That's a
was born
huge
a smoker
difference.
because my father smoked, so I was a passive smoker. But that's beside the point. But carry on.
I want to let Miss Graybird clarify her
Yeah.
point, because I brought up something she said and I misquoted her apparently.
Mm.
So I do want to let her clarify her
Yeah.
point.
I would also love for Zesh to be more self-aware and realize when we talk at the same time. But anyway, so what happened was it was specifically about this situation with Amina, where she was saying how if her friend came out to her, she would advise her that that's a sin, and if that friend still followed their lifestyle, then she would isolate that friend, like she would throw that friend out of her life. At the same time, where she was quoting that the Islam is about peace. So I was questioning, how is that peaceful if a person you originally loved you throw out of your life just because of their lifestyle?
But you're
Can
confusing
I
emotion
answer that?
with peace. Go on, bro. You go for it.
Because nowhere in Islam does it say if somebody does a sin, you should throw them out. So I'm not sure why the two are
Exactly, it's
correlated
this.
to each other. That's number one.
Yeah.
Well, sorry,
Mhm.
can I speak? I've been silent the whole time.
I'm just commenting. Comment,
Okay,
continue.
then you can leave your comments at the end. The second thing I wanted to say is we keep saying being gay is who they are, it's their identity. Fair enough, but so is being
Mm.
Muslim, and I feel like we keep neglecting that this is also their identity. So yes, it is a struggle that they're going to have to deal with, and I think there's no problem with somebody who sincerely loves another person, whether it be in a familial way or if it just be from a religious standpoint, advising them to make the
Mm.
best decision. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and to associate that with with emotional damage, I think it's very dangerous, because you're supposing that somebody who's doing an intentionally good deed is causing emotional damage just from doing that good deed. I don't think that's the case. That is a stable in our religion, that if we see somebody in need or somebody who's going through something, that we should be there for them and we should advise them in the best possible way to do things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Zeno, I
Do you have
disagree
the
with you,
ability
because
to
one
change?
second, sorry. I just want to comment real quick. Zeno, I disagree with you because, ooh, thank you for the heart. Oh, no, you sent it to Zeno. Oh, I thought it was to me. Um,
You
but
did get
what's it
one. I
called
sent you one
again?
as well. I sent you one.
Zeno, I disagree with you because we've already discussed how religion is something that you choose to follow because of
Mhm.
the facts you have in front of you and the conclusions that you come to. It's what you choose to follow. Being gay is who you are. Do you see the difference?
But every
One's a
study seems
choice,
to show
one's
that there
not.
is no gay gene. Every study shows that there's no gay gene. So I can say yes.
Oh,
What do you
There's
mean?
also
Oh,
no
this is
oh,
autistic
scientific.
gene. There's
That's
also no
scientific. You can go
autistic
argue with
gene, but
science.
people are autistic. Zeno,
No,
there's
but
also no
autism actually
autistic
has to.
gene, but
Oh, no,
there's
but
no
that actually
autistic
has to do
gene.
with genes. What I'm saying
No,
is
there's no
to say that.
autistic gene.
Okay, maybe there's not an autistic gene, but there is something. There is some sort of defect somewhere in the genome. I'm pretty sure about that.
Nope.
But that's not the same as being gay. To say that you are born gay, you're gonna have to prove that there's a
you
gay
are
gene,
born gay.
which there isn't. Sorry?
You were born gay.
I've got to say,
You can say that as much as you want, but biology doesn't agree with you. So if you accept science, then accept science. If you don't, then leave it. So it
Science
comes
does
back to
agree with that, though.
no, science
Science does
literally
agree,
shows that there is no gay
and
gene.
it's found that most people who, thank you, Ray, you made me happy now. Science has also found that people who don't get affirming healthcare, or they are told to suppress suppress who they are, they end up harming themselves, and they end up taking their own life.
Yeah, but
That
that's at the
science has
point where
found.
they have experienced life and they've come to their decisions about who they are as well. I'm saying studies show, and this was a recent study that was done in 2019, a massive study showed that there is no genetic basis for being gay. There is one
And they
for
also,
having
I
for
want
being
to
sexually
be
active.
honest about that study, because I've read that study, and it also shows that there's no straight gene either.
No, I agree, but I didn't say that. I didn't say there was a straight gene. I never said anybody was born straight. You said people was born gay. That is
Well, you're
factually
bringing
incorrect.
up
That's
that
number
there's
one.
no gay
So the
gene,
second
and I
thing
think
is
that
to say that religion is not born. I would disagree with you. I think studies do show that people are born with the innate inclination towards God, and we as Muslims, we believe that every child is born upon that natural inclination until they learn otherwise. So I would disagree with you there too.
But again,
want to
even if you
oppose that.
want to say that, again, the fact that you're coming to Islam, we've discussed this already. It's a choice that you're making based on the decisions you have, the information you have in front of you. You had already, what's that word that you used? You compared it, you used your barometer of truth, or whatever measure of truth that you had, to say that this is right. You still chose it. And again, being gay, when did you choose to be straight? It's not a choice that people make.
No, but once
That's
again, you use the word identity. Islam is also an identity that you can't take away from people. So to just look at
it.
one thing as an identity and the other one as not an identity, I would say that there's 2 billion Muslims in the world and probably another 2 billion Christians in the world that would disagree with you.
So it's not what? Why was he removed?
Who knows?
Oh man, it
I
says
don't know.
I don't know what
I just
happened.
want to ask a
Someone might
question.
have reported him. I'm not
He got
sure.
back.
I
Yeah, I think he
hope
got
not,
banned.
because he's on here every day. Like I love
I
Zeno.
hope not
He's
either.
on
I
here
think
every day.
everybody
We
has
have
the right.
he was
Oh.
reported. Oh
What?
man,
Yeah.
he was banned. Oh,
What was
I
wrong with
feel
what he
really
said?
bad
Oh my
because
god.
he's
Yeah, everybody has the right. I just wanted anybody in the comments that did that, you know, just because we disagree, everybody has the right to express their opinion. He's not pointing the finger and saying anything derogatory or offensive. He's stating his opinion, and we're discussing it. And it's really important to have that conversation. And it sucks that it's being filtered, whoever did that.
yeah, because Zeno's on here every day. We have discussions every single night. So I don't know who did that. I feel
He
really
didn't even
bad,
finish
but
his point.
yeah,
Probably someone
he
who
didn't.
didn't
He didn't get to
listen.
finish his point. That really sucks.
Um,
Okay, sorry.
Well, I'm
Cop
also
hater,
Middle
you want-
Eastern, so I'll try and say something.
Okay.
Shit. I don't know. I'm not a Muslim or nothing, but I really wish I
Okay.
could have heard that.
Oh, okay. Do you want to say your point, or should we go to Zesh? Because Zesh also had a point he wanted to bring up.
I forgot my
Um,
point completely.
oh shit.
I forgot my point completely. So let's just
Oh,
move
you
on
forgot
from
your point. Okay. Yeah, what's it called again? And then I guess you can bring up your point that you wanted to bring up, Cop
all I
hater.
wanted to say is, guys, you guys are absolute legends. I really enjoyed this discussion. Faye, you're an absolute legend. Deirdre, you're an absolute legend. Seda, even though you
You.
interrupted me, you're an absolute legend. And the person with the dots, you're also a legend. Thank you.
Stay in peace, bro.
Well, thank you, Zesh, and thanks for participating in the debate.
I will be back. I promise you.
Okay, great.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm gonna circle you out because somebody else's request. Oh wait,
All right.
Zeno. Zeno has a second account.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
Ooh,
this is the
getting real, guys.
I'll
I'll drop
Oh.
after him. I'm going
Mashallah.
to I got housework to do, and I got to make my kids some lunch, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out.
Okay, I love you, dear. Thanks for coming
Love
on.
you too. Thanks for having me on, everybody. And you
Thank
know what?
you.
I
okay,
am.
bye.
You are also a legend. You
Thank
guys are all legends.
What a legend.
Thank you, hon. I'll see you. Here we go, Zeno. Zeno, 1 second. Why isn't it oh.
The haters can't
How
stop
did
me.
you
I'm here. So whoever reported me
It
for
We get
wasn't
absolutely
me.
applause.
nothing,
So you just had a backup account
I
ready to
thought I
go,
was
or you
very
just created it?
respectful. I didn't
I
make
wanted
any
to hear what you
derogatory
said.
jokes or anything. I don't know why I was reported.
Nah, you
I'll tell
didn't
you
do
that.
anything wrong. Just continue. Let's not give these people attention.
Anyway, I forgot where I was. Faye, I'll let you take over.
I don't know.
Uh,
I was disagreeing with your points. I don't think you said it in any disrespectful or hateful way at all. I was disagreeing with your point. That what's it called again? That being gay is a choice or anything like that.
I didn't say it's a choice. I didn't say it's a choice in that sense. That's not what I meant. I just said that
Okay,
there's
so what
no
did you
gene
mean?
to prove that you were exactly born that way. Do I believe that your upbringing and things that are out of your control can contribute towards it? 100%. I never once stated that the opposite. What I'm saying is to say that it's being a religious person, having a belief in God is not also an identity. That's the part I contend with. I think they
I
are
don't.
both
No, I
identity.
agree.
I describe
I
myself as
don't
a
think that I said
Muslim
that
before a
that
heterosexual man.
Yeah,
believing.
I'm Iranian and I agree with him.
Yeah, I agree
I
too.
don't think that I said that having a religion isn't part of an identity and part of who a person is. Obviously, it is. It shapes the person and it shapes who they are at their core. However, it is not the same as being gay or having a sexual identity. It's not the same because one you chose to identify with and one you didn't choose to identify with. They're still both part of your identity.
Okay, would you say
But
that you have a choice to act on that sexuality?
So this is the thing. I don't think it's an issue. Like, do people have a choice to stay? Like, we've spoken about it before. I mean, I don't know,
Okay, being celibate. Is
but like,
celibate a choice?
people,
Is being celibate a choice?
is it a choice? Yes, but do I think that it's the right choice? No.
No, but that's your opinion. But I'm saying it is a choice.
Right, that's my
So it's the
opinion.
same. It's the same
Is
thing
it
that
a
we
choice?
feel with in terms of our religious beliefs. We believe it's a choice, but not accepting it would be the wrong choice. So I see it in equal value in that way. In that way, I agree with you on it's not the same as having those desires and those feelings for a person that you cannot control. I'm not equating them in that way. But how you choose to act upon it, you are 100% in control of. If you're not in control of it, then you should be in jail. So I would say that they are very similar in that way. But it comes back to the idea of advising somebody. To say that it's bad to advise somebody and it would cause emotional damage, I think is very dangerous. Because then what you're saying is let people not have any input from other people at all on anything, which
No,
you have
but
to have some advisors on some things, especially if they seek it.
Yeah.
okay, if they speak it, that's one thing. 100% give your opinion, give your advice. However, if somebody who grew up in your religion comes out to you as gay and knows already your opinion and knows what your beliefs are, knows all of that, do not put your 2 cents in. At that point, they're only asking for support and they're telling you what their life is. And they know already that you disagree with it. They know you see it as a sin. They know that you say that you're saying they shouldn't act on it. They know all that. I think you should just give your support or if you don't want to give your support, just keep quiet. Do not give them advice. Do not advise them in any way. Even if you
I
don't
would
agree with it, just
disagree
keep
because
quiet.
you're also presupposing that you know exactly what everybody who comes out to somebody is thinking and what they want. You're presupposing that you know that for every person, and you
Most
can't.
modern Muslims are not homophobic either.
Yeah, I was going to say I
Or
kind
like,
of
yeah.
partially agree with Faye on this one, in that I think that if you know the person and know how they're going to react, and if they're going to react badly, then yeah, I think even as a Muslim, you have a duty
Like
to
my
stay
grandma,
quiet
yeah. My
on them.
dad, probably
You
not.
know, but if you know that somebody has chosen Islam and you know they are firm in their faith, then they themselves would want you to guide them when they're wrong. If I'm
Yeah,
wrong
that's
in
their
some things, I
jihad.
would
I
It's
want
not
my
agree.
your
brothers
jihad,
to
man.
guide me. You know, but
It's their
seriously, if I'm
struggle.
wrong in something, if I'm wrong in something, I would want my brothers and my sisters to guide me. If I'm doing something wrong, I would want somebody to say to me. But that's my choice. That's me
Like how you
as a
want to hold
person.
people accountable for being canceled and shit. It's the same thing. Like that's what the criticizing is really. It's constructive criticism.
Mm.
Like I've never had anyone who's Islamic or from Iran tell me something that wasn't like for my benefit, even if it was harsh.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll
But
just
that
like to ask something. So like for example, there was this YouTube video that I watched where it's like a debate. I think it's called Jubilee, but it's a debate between liberal Muslims and conservative
Yeah, I
Muslims.
saw
Oh,
that.
that
And
I
sounds
saw that.
crazy.
yeah,
It
so I guess
was wild.
the liberal Muslims, I guess, are
I want to see that.
modern Muslims. But for example, one of the people, I don't really remember her name, but she basically was saying that she's a gay Muslim and stuff, and she has different beliefs, I guess. Like she was saying how if men, sorry, wait a second. She was saying how if men are allowed to have 4 wives, then women should too. And she was saying I
Honestly,
should be
same.
allowed to have I should be allowed to have the partner that I want, whether it's a woman or a man, and such and such. So how would you advise such a person if they were a close friend of yours or a family member?
Well, I think it's difficult because this is where that Western influence comes
Sorry, what are these
into.
creepy noises?
Yeah.
I have
What?
no idea.
What the
I think
heck?
this is where the Western influence comes in. I would say just show them the Quran and show them the Hadith. Simple as. I think it does a very good job of explaining matters like this directly to the point. So I would just show them that, and if they reject it, then that's between them and God. That's the way I would deal with it. I can't
For
speak for anybody else.
example, I think from what I remember, if I'm correct, this person was saying that in the Quran, you know how it's about Qawm Lut, for example,
Yeah.
she said that in the Quran it doesn't explicitly say that the reason why they were punished was because of the fact that people were gay and stuff. And I think a lot of
Actually, it
people also
does
say that
because
a
if you
lot
No,
of
actually
gay.
read the
that's both.
verse, the verse pretty clearly says, and I think I showed it in this live a while ago, that you practice your lust on men instead of women.
Women, yes,
So
100%.
yeah, that's what the verse says. So if and I don't think I know that lady who's I watched the video. She doesn't actually speak Arabic or can read the Quran. So I mean, how much do we take of
Yeah.
that? But that
She
the
might
verse
read the
literally says you
translation.
practice your
You never
lust
know.
on men instead of
Yeah, but
women,
they
and the
translate it
hadiths
into
back
weird
this up.
ways.
Yeah,
True.
so the hadiths also back
Like how
this
the
up because
Bible's
Prophet
translated into
Muhammad
fucked
pretty
up
much,
shit.
pretty explicitly said that you unalive the one who was doing it and the one it is being done to. You wouldn't unalive somebody who is being R-word, would you? Doesn't make logical sense. So that's the only way I would deal with it. Like I said, if you show
Okay.
them the Quran, you show them hadiths, and they deny it, that's between them and God.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody's
Yeah,
saying,
by the way,
somebody's,
I just want to apologize for those creepy noises. I was waiting for
Oh,
the
it's you?
elevator and I was basically in the hallway. So,
I got
yeah.
goosebumps.
Creepy noises.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm taking my dog out for a walk and he was crying in the hallway. And so, like, I didn't
The
want to
bite the
talk
hand. What are you talking
while he
about?
was crying, but I can't mute myself. For some reason, as host, you can't mute. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Oh shit, that's weird.
actually, there is a way of
Yeah.
muting, but it's a little bit like janky. If you
How?
if you flick up, like if you're on I'm on an iPhone, so if I flick up out of the live and go back onto my my normal screen, it'll put me on pause and not be able to hear what I'm saying.
Oh no, I can't. If I try to do that, it like kicks everybody off. It'll kick all the guests off
Okay.
because I'm on an Android. Yeah, no, we've tried. I've tried that before. It kicks everybody off.
Android
Yeah.
moments.
Oh well, it's okay. Y'all will hear creepy noises once in a while. That's fine.
I like creepy
Um,
stuff, as you can see by my icon.
what's it
At least
called
it's
again?
not other noises. I was once on a live with a host who just burped and did everything.
Oh God.
People pay good
Um,
money for that.
Oh my god, we were literally having a serious debate, and he's like, what the heck?
Dude.
I was once on a live where the guy literally went to the bathroom, peed, and then
Oh my
walked out
god.
without washing his hands on a live. We can all hear.
Oh,
And I'm like,
vile.
okay, well
Despicable.
then.
Oh my
I hate
god.
it. Thank you.
But what's it called again? But going back to the thing though, I honestly did not fully hear you guys while I was in the elevator. But I don't know. I'm still of the opinion that if somebody comes to you, unless they ask you for advice, you shouldn't give your own 2 cents into their life. Like, even if you're a good friend, if my friend tells me, it's very wrong if people are coming to tell you something for you to just give your 2 cents on their
See,
life.
as a first generation American Middle Easterner, obviously I relate to that. If anyone asks me for shit, I'm gonna lay out all the possibilities I could possibly think of. But my family, who's from Iran, will criticize your entire life and tell you what you need to do in order to be most successful because they grew up in Islam. So
You know what? I'm Pakhtun, and it's like they're from like the north of the northern areas of like Asia, basically, and
yeah.
they are the most interfering people in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be sat
It
there.
doesn't matter. Dating advice, whatever. Fucking, they'll tell you what they
Literally,
think.
I'll be sat
You
there.
also have this
Yeah.
that even within your country, you can't date everyone because like this region is shit, that region is shit. Do you also have
Yeah,
that?
there's like definitely like caste system almost kind of.
Oh God.
Mine's is I'd be sat in a room full of aunties, right, minding my own business, peeling an orange, and one auntie be like, "Why are you peeling the orange this way? Peel it
Yeah,
this way."
everything
Another
you do,
auntie
they're
would be
like,
like,
why are you
"Why are you
cooking it
eating
like
an
that?
orange? You
Why are
should
you
eat
folding
apple. It's
that
the better
blanket like
fruit."
that?
You know
Why
what
are
I
you doing
mean?
that?
For me, it was literally
You should
when
do this.
I
my
think
grandma
also
saw how I was sleeping. She was saying, "If you sleep on that side, you are
Dead
bad.
ass.
You're inviting the jinn."
Dude, dead
You're
ass.
bringing them to bind your back or something like that. I've heard that. That's
I'm
yeah.
like, can I do
I just don't
anything without
understand it because
inviting the jinn, man?
But
Go invite them. Fuck it. I got
going
some
back to
beers.
the original point, Faye, I just wanted to address Faye's point. I agree with you, but at the same time, I do disagree because I have relationships with certain friends where they would be offended if I didn't give them advice on situations. I think it depends on your
Also
relationship with that
that.
person, you know?
That is
But again,
100%
I
true. I have the
agree.
same relationships with
when
people as
someone's
well.
coming
They
out
would
to
expect
you,
me to give them advice if they tell me something.
Yeah.
but if they're coming out to you, what advice would you give them? They know it's a sin. They know according to you it's a sin. So what advice would you give them?
Well, I give advice for a living because I'm a lawyer, so people come to me anyway.
Okay.
Nice.
So
So,
again, if somebody came out to you, what advice would you give them?
in what context? It depends on who it is. If it was my best friend, I'd be like, "Sort yourself out, bro. What are you doing?" You know. If it was somebody who is like,
Take your son. Your son.
my son.
Yeah.
If
If you
my
have a kid or
son,
whatever.
I do have a son. If my son came to me, for telling me that this was going on, I would sit down and I talk it through with him. You know,
What?
I would
What?
sit
I
down and
didn't hear
talk
what
it
you
through
said.
with
Sorry.
him. Fine. I
But
would
if
first things first. It would be an information gathering exercise. You know, asking him questions, finding out about him, why he feels this way, what's going through his head, what's made him think this all of a sudden, why he's told me now, all these questions. And then once I've analyzed that and found out where his mind is, only then would I sit down and say, you know, son, this is what our belief is, this is what our religion is. You know this is against our religion, you know this is against our faith.
Technically not though.
What do you mean?
I mean, Allah makes everybody in whatever form he
Yeah.
feels like
No, I
is
agree with you.
necessary.
I agree with you.
So
And
yeah.
if yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I mean, end of the day, look, if he's been
Hoda,
created
whatever
that
you
way,
want to
he's
say.
been created that way, but end of the day, the way I look at things, and this is my view, right? My personal view, not the views of anybody on this panel or any other faiths or anything like that. My view is that if somebody has been created that way, that is part of their test. As a Muslim, I believe this life is a test. It's
That's
here to test
jihad.
us. Um,
A lot of people think that's a scary ass word, but it's
yeah, that's
No,
why
but
I don't
you're
use it.
right. That is a
That's
part of
why.
sorry.
jihad.
Oh, you could get
Jihad
fucking
is the
banned?
most
Oh
basic
shit.
fundamental
Don't
parts of
say that.
Islam.
Oh
Yeah,
shit shit.
don't say that word. Just call it a
Oh my
struggle.
god, that's so
Oh
fucked
yeah,
up
oh
that
my
they
god,
think
I'm
that's
gonna
a
get
bad word.
cancelled again.
I'm so
Wait,
sorry.
it's banned too?
That's
That word is
crazy
banned
because
too?
that's
Yeah.
not a bad word at all. It's
What
just
the
it makes
hell?
people.
I know, but the
You
connotation of
never
it,
know. I don't even
That
know
is
what I said to get
horrible.
myself
gets you
banned.
cancelled.
What can we say that's not banned? Like, I don't understand.
just say the
Struggle.
J word. We all know what you're talking about. Just say the J
Yeah,
word.
It
There you
means
go.
like it's like struggle, but it's like a struggle
struggle.
within the self, like a
Yeah,
struggle with your faith, struggle within the self, struggle with your identity and relation to everybody else in the world
Yeah.
and whatever.
To
toiling
be
for
the
the
best
sake of
you.
your faith,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
You
suffering
Be
know,
the
to
best
be
version of yourself for God.
evolution. Like when deer shed their velvet off of their antlers,
Again,
like
what?
that. when the deer shed the velvet off of their antlers, it's all
Hmm.
bloody and nasty and weird. It's like that.
Mhm.
Wow.
Or I'm
Is it
just a little
actually?
drunk.
What a visual. But
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, this is actually a topic that was a big thing within my closed family and friends, like acquaintances, because one of the friends of my mother's son came out. And this was for years. It went on for years. Like the mother suffered a lot from it too, because she was a very devout believer. Took them years to kind of get to terms, and in the end, she still loves him, even though she doesn't support his lifestyle, and they're still like son and mother. Like they still have a relationship.
Wow.
It's just I don't know how they deal with it, but it's not like they cut off each other. Like they had years of a lot
They
of
can't.
strife. But yeah, so he's married now to his husband. He lives his life. His mother isn't happy, but you know they are still a family. So like because she didn't want to lose everything, like
My
her
family
whole
is the
stuff.
same. Because
Yeah,
I came out when I was like 10 years old or whatever. I knew something wasn't right, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
like after a while of them seeing the kind of dudes I would end up with because I'm just like forcing myself to like men or whatever, they're just like begging me to date women because they're like, all right, these guys suck. And like my Iranian family and everything, they fucking hate all the guys that I dated, and they're like, okay, we don't care who the fuck you date at this point, just make sure you're happy and they're not beating the shit out of you, basically.
Mm.
So it really is like that. They
And
just
the
at the end of
interesting,
the day, they have no choice but to want you happy.
the interesting thing is, he also after he married, he became more religious. It was so like he's
A lot of people are like that.
yeah,
Like
because
one of
the
my
family,
friends who's
yeah.
Muslim girl, she like doesn't wear anything obviously because she's a masculine lesbian. She's from Egypt and whatever, but she's still Muslim.
Mm.
your relationship with God is your relationship with God. Nobody can take that away from you, right?
It's always
But
personal.
it is personal. 100% is personal. And
Yeah.
on top of that, like Muslims know the rules. Muslims know the rules.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
as Sister Faye said, but we as Muslims have that duty. And the sister, what was she called before? Alicia, I don't know, the girl that came in earlier on.
Amina, I think.
Amina, the girl that came in before. Her choices were her choices. You know,
Exactly.
and we have to respect that because that's
Yeah.
her choice. That's not representative of Islam, right?
Yeah.
That's her choice.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand that there are certain people in my life that I would probably feel the same about because I'd feel betrayed, not because of their choice, because they haven't told me sooner.
Mm.
You know, if my best friend told me tomorrow that he's homosexual, I'd feel really weird. You know why? Because I've been like unclothed in front of him. You know.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
but chances are he didn't view you
Of course,
like that.
I know
Like,
this, I know this,
yeah.
I know this, but it would still make me feel weird if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a personal thing.
It's your feelings, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if a guy told me he was gay and we were best friends this whole time and I was putting my clothes off in front of him and everything, and then suddenly he's
Told you
like,
he's
"Oh, I'm
straight.
actually been straight."
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be
You'd feel,
weird.
you'd feel
You
betrayed. You'd feel
know?
betrayed. You'd feel cheated. You'd feel like I trusted you and you let me down.
Like, I
Mhm.
get it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's more to it, and I kind of get that. That's what the sister was getting at. Not that she would shun this person because of their views. It was more to do with the fact that if you have a close friend, you trust them. Like me and my best friend, I don't have brothers.
No,
He's
she
like my
literally
brother.
said.
No.
She literally said.
Yeah, no, she said she would shun them, and she said even if somebody was eating bacon, like, because I was comparing it, I was
Come
trying to ask
on.
her, like, I was trying to get to where her parameter is for shunning people, and she said even if somebody was eating haram or eating bacon or anything, she would shun them too.
Yes, and there's a reason for that. There's a
So
reason for that.
That's like
And the
some
reason,
pick me behavior.
no, it's the reason for that is because you are basically the same as the company you keep. Okay, there's an old
Yeah.
saying that you are basically the same as the company you keep, and that company has an influence on you. And whether or not you class it as a 1% influence on you or a 100% influence on you,
Okay,
that
sorry. I'm
person will
sorry.
influence
Oh, she's here.
you.
I
She came.
misunderstood.
She's in the
So
chat. She came.
I
Oh,
perhaps
perfect.
misunderstood.
She should come up.
Perfect.
But
She can definitely come back up, but I still very much disagree with her. And yes, while you are a product of your environment 100%,
yeah,
I do not think that you should limit your environment to only people who agree with exactly what you agree with.
it's not about
That's
agreeing.
again
Say,
not allowing you to critically think, and not
Because
you're
echo
basically
chambers are
not
bad.
accepting anyone who why you hear an echo.
Can
I
I
don't even
quickly
know
address
her.
somebody in the comments? Because there's a
What?
genie in the comments that keeps talking for
A
the
g-
Muslim women,
There's
and the
a
Muslim
gin
women
in
are
the
trying to push back, but
comments.
she's not listening. Can everybody hear me?
Who is it?
The genie C, and she keeps saying Muslim women are controlled, Muslim women are oppressed, Muslim women are
Bruh,
this,
shut the.
but all the Muslim women in the chats are disagreeing with her.
I'm a non-binary fucking Muslim. What are you talking about?
And this is the problem that I feel like is a lot of people talk for Muslim women, and I would like to see more Muslim women
They
come
always
out
want to say
and
shit
start
about
talking for
the, oh,
themselves.
you're covering your
One
hair too
second,
much,
sister. One
all
second,
this
sister.
shit.
One second. Sorry.
1 second,
Sorry.
sorry. Let him finish
Sorry.
talking.
The
Let's
Muslim
let him
women
finish talking.
have more ability to speak for themselves than anybody else, and I'm glad they're checking on you
Yeah.
with this, because this is something that happens very commonly.
They
In
will
fact,
tell
I'll
you
give you a
whatever.
stat, Genie. Since you think Muslim women are so oppressed, the majority of converts to Islam in the Western world are women. So maybe you need to go look at the people around you and stop
Women
them from
actually
joining
feel
Islam
liberated
beforehand. Thank you very much.
by Islam. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's right. He's right.
Well,
A
again,
lot
you're
of them
talking
do.
in general. I don't like these generalizations, but yeah, I didn't like her generalizing that either. But yeah, I think generalization saying that all women feel liberated or all women feel oppressed or anything
I
like
didn't
that.
say that, and I've been very clear to
No.
say
I
that
know you
people
didn't
are
say
being
that.
oppressed.
No, I know you didn't say that. I was just talking like in general generalizations. But yeah, 100%. I agree with you. People in all different religions and faiths don't always feel oppressed or aren't always oppressed because it's a choice they make. It comes down to when they're not making that choice, when the choice is forced on them. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying to find my dog's ball. So yeah,
I
just
feel
also
that.
think that when people are talking about how Muslim women are oppressed, they mostly think of women that are being forced to wear hijab. Like, you can be oppressed in different ways that don't apply to the hijab only.
Yeah, it's a way more than that.
So there might be a Muslim woman who's forced to wear hijab, and you might say she's oppressed, but there might be a Muslim woman who's like abused at home, so she's oppressed. If that makes sense, I
100%.
don't
And
know.
can I just say your voice makes me so tired? It's
Yo,
so
you should do some
calm.
ASMR, bro.
I fall asleep listening to your voice. It's so calming.
Start an ASMR YouTube.
But yeah,
You make money,
100%.
girl.
Thank you.
People can be oppressed in all different ways. I agree with that. Sit, good
Because
boy.
yeah, it's a lot. Like in different Muslim countries with Sharia law, are like people are oppressed in different ways. There's some countries where it's like minimal oppression and women can go to school. They don't need a guy to take them anywhere. There's some countries where like you can't leave the place without a dude that you're related to or married to taking you somewhere. Like they're all different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think also
somebody asked, can we
culture
talk about
applies to
divorce
that.
rates in the
And who's in
West?
control?
I don't think divorce rates are a problem, honestly. Like, yes, there are a lot of divorce rate. There's a high divorce rate, but again, it's people who are leaving marriages that aren't for them. Like, I don't think it's an issue for people to get divorced or leave marriages that aren't for them.
Maybe it should be
just
harder
live
to
a
get
loveless
married.
marriage because they don't want to get divorced. What?
Maybe it should be harder to get married in this country.
I don't think
know.
that either. Like, I don't see it's an issue.
Let's
Like a
try
high divorce
it.
rate, I don't think that's an issue.
Let's try making it harder to get married.
Maybe
they're
people
trying
shouldn't
that
marry.
already in the
Let's
US.
just try it.
You know, the thing is, maybe people
I don't
shouldn't,
do
like, all people shouldn't marry as in a state marriage, but, you know, do a religious marriage or do wedlock or something, you know, because
Yeah, do a
that's
hand
not
pass, fuck's
expensive.
sake.
If you divorce, you don't pay that much of costs for the lawyer and blah, blah, blah.
Prenups.
Well,
It's the way
we need to
forward.
bring the rent down
Exactly.
first.
Prenups. God.
You
All
need a
these people
prenup.
don't do-
Yep.
It's so crazy to me when people are like, oh, we are getting married, we love each other, and you're like, and do you have a prenup? And they're like, no, and like, Okay, and since when are you together? Oh, we met 5 months ago. It's the one. And I'm like, oh my God.
Then you end up in the courtroom sorting out all your beanie babies. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
There's
so
people that
that's
get
the thing.
married in 1 month.
I
That's
think also
fucking
in
crazy.
ultra-religious, extreme religious communities, people get married so much faster because it's usually like the parents do the research into the person, and they don't really get to date them. They only see them once or twice before getting engaged.
Yo, that's
And
why
I think that's
India's
also
fucking
like
crazy.
I 100% agree
That's
with
fucking
divorce in
crazy to
that
me.
situation. Go
Mm.
get
In
it.
Yeah.
India, that's
Good boy.
fucking crazy. Like fucking little kids get married and shit. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
do you know in India Hindus like
What the fuck?
bond their children like from their like birth charts. So
Yeah.
say for example, me and my next door neighbor have kids that are similar age, right? They'll compare birth charts and they'll agree like when these children are like one that your child will marry my child.
Dude,
And I
what?
think, yeah, seriously, like they
There's
base it on
cults in the US that do that too.
Yeah.
they base it
I
on
also
like
think,
astronomy charts.
sorry,
If their astronomy charts match, they'll marry the kids off. If there's a conflict, they don't marry them off.
Do you guys know Teal Swan?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
No.
yeah, she grew up in a cult where they would like they would, but it was like beyond like just like, oh, they're just born next to each other by chance in a compatible sign. It's like they would engineer it and they would fuck at the certain time to like make it happen and shit.
You
There's
serious?
cults in the US that do shit like that. They
Yeah.
plan shit up. They base it because they're stealing all these Eastern Asian beliefs and shit, and they bring it to America, and everyone thinks like, oh, this is like awakening stuff, and it's like gonna fix me and like whatever, all this weird shit. But it's just like
have you
white people
guys
making money off other white people.
There's something
have
like
you
that.
guys ever seen those there's like these family, and I think they're part of a cult where like the guy, he came out with his story and apparently he has like 100 and something siblings.
Yeah, I know it. It's in America.
Bro.
Yeah. And there's also
Yep.
a documentary also based on something like that, like a cult, where like this man has more than 90 children. And I
Oh,
think
That's
David
that's
correct.
crazy.
Waco in Texas. Waco,
Oh,
Texas.
Waco's
David correct.
that's a fucked up cult.
Yeah.
Bruh. Texas again.
Texas.
Yeah,
Texas was its own country once. Forget that.
There are many issues with Texas.
What?
Yeah.
Remember when they had winter for the first time?
Oh.
What?
Yeah, they had like an inch of ice of snow.
They were like, oh my
Yeah.
god, my roof is caving in.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I guess you didn't expect snow.
Ice protection
Heavy.
in America is amazing.
But to address the guy in the comments again, the one who's saying like you should not get divorced, and people that dating around, that having the ability to date various people and to choose who you date gives you the impression that there's better out there. I don't think that's a problem. Like to
I
choose
think-
who you want to
yeah.
marry and to make an informed decision. I
Yeah,
don't
what?
think that's
Fuck.
yeah.
For example,
Yeah,
there's
I don't
something
know.
there's something in my in Turkey that was done a lot, where if someone, like if two young people wanted to marry each other, then the man would go to the woman's house and ask like the family for their permission as well, and then they would have an engagement period, and both of them at any point could throw the engagement away and nothing bad would happen. Because they had the name, like everyone knew these people are trying to see each other and see if they want to marry, if they want to go along with marriage, if the families fit as well, like everything. And if it didn't, then they would dissolve the marriage. Any both of them could do it at any time. And then
So that sounds like a
know.
dating period,
Exactly,
not an
but
engagement.
yeah, exactly. But they call it an engagement, like they do have the ring on the
Interesting.
specific finger. It's not the one where you put the ring on for marriage. It's the other hand. Like
Yeah,
in other
yeah.
cultures, they call it friendship ring or relationship ring, right?
Interesting. I don't know. Like I
It
don't know.
was
The
for
way
the
it's
honor
done,
of the
it was
woman,
done in the
but yeah.
community I grew up in, is that when you got of marriageable age, you wrote a resume that had your information on it, what you were looking for. It had the schools you went to, everything like that. And then those resumes would go to a matchmaker, and then a matchmaker would exchange them between families, and then families would do research into the perspective. And like, to me, and then they would only, like, once the research was done, the child got to do research as well. But then once they decided to meet, it was basically done. They would have maybe one conversation or maybe two, and then they would be engaged. And those conversations would be at the matchmaker's home in her kitchen while the parents are in the living room with the matchmaker. And so, like, to me, and divorce is very low in those homes, not because they're in love and anything like that, just because it's not accepted. So, like, to me, I think divorce should be more accepted. Like, when people are not happy, like, yes, they should first try to work through it, obviously, and try to keep the family together as much as they can. But I don't think you should stay in a marriage just because you're married. Eat. Good boy. Yeah.
That sounds like applying to a job or something, because you
It
have
really
a
is.
resume.
My sister was on here before. She said sometimes when she's going through her laptop and, like, because she's a freelancer, so she has to send her resume out sometimes, and she types in resume because she was dating while in the community. So her shoot, how do you call it in English? Her dating resume and her work resume would come up at the same time on her computer. She still has it, which I think is
Oh, so
hilarious.
she would get flashbacks.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time
dear.
she searches up her resume. But yeah, I'm happy I got out before I got into the dating system because I don't know. I would not have liked that.
Can I ask
Mhm.
how did you get out of the community? Like, was it difficult or was it easy?
Yeah, so it was kind of a multi-step process. So when I was 16, I snuck out and bought an iPod Touch. So that was really the first time I had access to the internet. And that was when I started just researching, and that's when I realized the sheer amount of religions in the world and belief systems. And I realized that, like, not everybody is going through hell if they're not practicing the same way we are. And I just couldn't understand how anyone can just choose one religion. And what the hell? Zeno was banned again. It says he was
What?
removed for community guideline.
What the fuck?
What the hell?
Somebody's gunning for him.
I think there's a
Somebody
chance.
really is, because
Goddamn Islamophobes.
we've been on here for months and he has never. Oh wait, never mind. He's coming right back.
Oh my god.
What the hell happened, Zeno? Sorry,
You
and then
have
I'll
a
go back
stop-
to
No,
my
it said
story.
because I was on
I'll-
mute for 5 minutes. That's
Okay.
why.
Oh, okay. So just
He
don't go
died.
on mute, I guess. Okay.
TikTok's really
Okay.
against me today.
That's weird.
They've
never
got
happened
something
before.
against you. But like I was saying before, I'm like, you've been on here for months. We've never had an issue before with you. So I don't know what the issue is tonight. But so yeah, when I was 16, I started researching everything. That's when I got into the whole thing, like, how can you pick one without, like, one religion when there are so many people with so many different belief systems? And also, like, what are the chances you're born into the one right religion? And so I wanted to leave at that point, but I wanted to maintain a relationship with my family. So I asked my mom, I spoke to my mom at some point when she caught me with my iPod Touch. She took it away. I got punished, everything like that. But I spoke to her and I said, I want to leave, but I want to do it in a respectful way because I love you. I want to still have my family and everything like that. What steps can I take to still have you guys in my life? She told me that I had to, one, finish out high school in the high school I was in, study in Israel for a year in a school of her choosing after school and seminary. And I also had to get a job at a Jewish workplace when I got back. So I did all of that. I got a job at a Jewish school when I got back. And I wanted to start looking for an apartment right away. She went and bought a used car and said, I'll give you this car if you stay in my house, because I'm a people pleaser. And she knew that in her house, I would follow all of her rules because, like, I also respect people. So, like, if you have rules in your house, I'll follow your rules. But at that point, I was living a lie for 3 years. So I told her, I'll follow your rules in your house. However, I still want to explore and live my life the way I'm going to live my life outside of your house. She agreed to it at that point. A few months later, I was walking home from the gym and she was driving in the neighborhood and she saw me wearing pants walking home and she gave me 48 hours to move out. And so I moved out. Thankfully, I had some savings. So I found an apartment. I moved out. And then a few months later, when I started dating someone seriously, the person I was dating was not Jewish. And we were moving in together. So I wanted to have a conversation with her. I reached out to her, asked her if we can have dinner or something to have a conversation. She said she wouldn't speak to me unless it was in front of a rabbi. So we went in front of a rabbi. I told her I was dating someone not Jewish. She begged him to sit Shiva, which is a process of mourning someone's death. He said no, because apparently like that's not done anymore. But she was like bringing up examples of how recently people have done it. He kept saying no. We kind of ended it at that. And then I found out like 2 months later, she went to a different rabbi and she ended up sitting Shiva and mourned my death anyway. So that was kind of the process of me leaving. And then my sister, my older sister, she was told she can't have any contact with me from rabbis as well. That was the first time she went against any rabbi, because she couldn't understand like how somebody can tell her to cut me off. So that started kind of her process of leaving as well. That's the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to ask. I learned about Judaism in school, and what they told us was normally for you to be to believe in Judaism, you have to be born into it, if that makes sense. I just wanted to know if that's true.
For the most part, you can convert. It is harder to convert because they're supposed to like turn people away 3 times before allowing them to convert. But you can convert, or you're supposed to be born from a Jewish mother. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I guess
I just want to say your sister's amazing. That's not common, but yeah, what an amazing family
she
member.
is amazing, especially because at that point we were not close. Like she explained it to me later that we weren't close because she always felt like I was fake because I was pretending. Like I didn't tell her that I was going to be not religious or anything like that, like not Jewish, that I was leaving, anything like that. I was always putting on a show for everybody. So she said as soon as I left, she noticed a huge change in me and she's like, okay, this is someone I could be around. But we were not close at that point. So for her to do that, made my heart melt, because that was not something like I expected or anything like that. I was planning on leaving. Like I thought I would have no friends, no family for the rest of my life, you know? So for her to do that was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, the oldest?
I love her.
Cool. I don't know if it's because I'm also an older sister. I don't know if it has to do with being the one or something.
Same.
I don't know. Even if my little sister annoys the shit out of me, if anyone does anything, even my parents, I don't know. I become a different person. Like, I literally roar. It's not a joke. I literally roar at my father.
She's the same way. If you see her come on here, sometimes if somebody says anything like mean or whatever in the comments, even if I don't notice, she'll like stick up. She'll become like the crazy protective older sister. But I love her for it. So
I don't know why. If it has a science, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, 1 second. Ray is coming up. Is there someone I can just switch out? Because Ray left
You
a
can
similar
take me
community.
out. You can take it. I'll go down for a bit.
You can drop me actually, because I'm island.
I'll see you. You'll get banned anyways, you know. So, oh no, it says he was again removed from the live. On the top, it said he was removed. So I don't know if he was banned or not. But Ray is coming up. Ray left a similar community as well.
Good evening,
Hello, Ray.
lovely people.
Hi.
How was your Christmas dinner?
Yeah, it was very good actually. And what was really funny is that we had a Christmas meal, but every one of us was Jewish. So my sister and I grew up in similar backgrounds. Her Orthodox, me ultra Orthodox. Her partner, her wife really, is the granddaughter of a chief rabbi, a former chief rabbi.
Oh, wow.
And my cousin is also Jewish. Now, we had a big discussion on the Bible and on Torah and on God. And you know what? Between all of us, not one of us could agree. And we're all Jewish.
I'm telling you, put 10 Jews in a room, you get 15 different opinions.
Totally.
100%.
My sister is totally and utterly confirmed atheist. Her partner, who is the granddaughter of the former chief rabbi, believes in God but not religion. and my cousin, and I'm kind of believe in God but no religion, and my cousin, she likes it culture. She likes the culture, so we lit Hanukkah candles in the shadow of her Christmas tree,
Oh,
and her
that's
son's going to
nice
have a bar
though.
mitzvah. Yeah, and we did Ma'at Sur. We lit the candles. I made the brocha. I made the prayer for the lighting of the candles. So it was really an interesting evening, to be honest. But not one of us could agree on Moses to Noah to God, no God. What does he want from us? Well, what does God not what he? Because that was the other discussion. Um, don't gender God. God has no gender, and that was another discussion. So it was an interesting evening.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it sounds like it. The picture though was gorgeous. It looked so cozy and warm. I did want to ask you though, your opinion, or maybe you want to say the story about how you left, or stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a with a similar background to Faye, although the cult that I grew up in it's on the border. It's borderline cult. They
Mm-hmm.
still control your actions, then what you believe, where kind of religious practice overpowers the belief in God, the traditions. So yeah, I went through the whole system of rabbinical seminary. Um, I did get a secular education, but I was packed off to Israel too. And when I got to Israel, I was supposed to go to what we call a yeshiva, a seminary in Jerusalem. I had $800 in my pocket because I was in LA. I grew up in LA. You wouldn't know by the accent because I was born in Scotland. Um, and with the $800, I did a runner. I went to the yeshiva, showed my face, and then just disappeared. I went off and spent the $800, which I think lasted me probably about 3 months, 4 months. Um,
Wow, I
and I
didn't
went
know it
on.
lasted you that long.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Marlboro was only about like at the time when I did smoke a vape now, but yeah, it was very cheap in Israel at the time. Now I think it's about 28 or 29 shekels for a packet. At the time, it was like a shekel and a half, 2 shekels. So I yeah, spent the money in going from Eilat to Jerusalem to Tel Aviv to this kibbutz, that kibbutz. In communities, I was kicked out for just being a rebel. And yeah, and that was my journey. I just couldn't, I constantly questioned what I was being told, that the head of the movement that I was involved with was the Messiah, and he could see through his pictures. He could look through your soul. He yeah, and
Right. They had pictures of him hanging in every room.
yeah,
And
Are you
yeah.
serious? So
I
he
mean,
was this Messiah?
yeah, they believed that the Rebbe of the group that I was the Rebbe, the rabbi
Yeah.
of the group, the Lubavitch movement I was involved with, they believed that he was the Messiah. Now, when he died, the majority of the mainstream group that I was involved with accepted the fact that he wasn't the Messiah. He couldn't be because he died. But there is an offshoot now of the same group that who have kind of broken off, who still believe that he's the Messiah,
Mhm.
regardless of him passing away. And they've broken off, and there's no, they split, the movement split. And that was my background. So I now only, I suppose I could still call myself a cultural Jew because I take the good bits out of it. Like coming up to Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, there's lots of food. There's
That's
potato
today,
latkes.
isn't it?
There's donuts. Yeah, I like Purim because of the Halloween type,
You get to drink.
You
yeah, and
guys
you
do
get
the
to
best
drink.
bread. I'm going to say you guys do the best bread, hands down.
Yeah, and challah as well. Yeah,
Holla.
I love the challah, and yeah. So I cultural. I believe in God, but I don't practice religion. I don't, go anywhere near a synagogue. I just do a one-on-one with God in the morning and in the evening,
Mm.
and that's it. That's my story.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting story. Like
Really
it's
sick.
I wish sometimes that I had enough thing as you to like just do what you call a runner and just run
Yeah,
off, because like I realized that I for so long was trying to make everybody else happy, and I
yeah,
was trying to leave in a way that was right for them but not necessarily right for me. So I
yeah.
missed out on some time, but I'm still happy that I left and it ended up working out the way it did. But yeah,
I mean,
Well,
actually
to
at
had I,
16
say,
I wouldn't have had money for an apartment, so I guess it's good that I waited till I was 19. But yeah.
well, I was lucky because, you know, as I said before in previous lives, that I did have a secular family in Israel, so I wasn't totally alone. I had a cushion, you know, I had a net, a safety net. But on the other hand, I really disappointed my family because they had obviously spent, you know, all of the time and arranging and choosing the right place for me to go, and they bought my tickets and everything, and then I just, you know, said no. You know, I cut. But had I stayed there, I probably would have been kicked out after a couple of months anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, I mean, and also they probably paid some tuition because you have to, the schools aren't free. But
no,
yeah,
they paid for the first semester, which I mean, it was
only the first semester.
yeah, it was a Neve Etzion, and it was quite I think it was quite expensive. I think it was between maybe probably about, you know, 3,000 to 5,000 a term or a month, I think even. No, a
Mm-hmm.
Are
term.
you serious?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. These things are expensive. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
because it's room and it's board and it's study.
and food.
Um, yeah,
Sometimes
everything.
food.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
you get 3 meals a day. You get a dormitory. Um, yeah, and studying everything. So it is, yeah. And that was, we're talking about like the 80s, the late 80s. So
Mm-hmm.
that would have been quite expensive. I would say I think they probably between $3,000 to $5,000, and they
Yeah.
lost that. That was gone. But we never really discussed it after. I never spoke to them after that anyway. Only with my cousin that I made peace with. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how you lose your whole family and everything.
Oh yeah,
Which
I
is
was
why
cut.
I
I
think
was
I'm
yeah.
so outspoken about like understanding that you might be coming to the wrong like when people believe in their religion 100%, like yes, it might be true, but you also might be coming to the wrong conclusion, so don't allow that to affect your relationships with people. I
Well,
think that's like the biggest thing that I try to push forward.
I think with
Especially
that
your
the
was it
children.
because I missed out. Oh, sorry, I
no, sorry,
interrupted someone.
please carry on, carry on.
Yeah. So what I felt was that you know, the only the only cousin that I kept in touch with after we, you know, she had come to Israel, we made some peace. I think she understood that for me it was quite not only a cultural thing, 'cause I had learned, I'd always been Orthodox. I grew up Orthodox in a kosher home, synagogue, kept the Sabbath, but to go from that to a more kind of conservative and closeted type of movement, and also going from one country to another as well. I think she was the one that always had a bit more patience and kind of understood where I was coming from,
Mm.
because they sent her to England to study in England in the
Oh,
Gateshead Yeshiva for
yeah, my
girls.
mom went there.
Yeah, so that was the natural path because she was going to go there, do her 2 years, and then come back and then teach in Hebrew Day Academy,
Mm.
Torah Academy, or whatever. So she kind of knew what it was like to be going from one country to another, and then also adopting a different type of way because you know Gateshead is ultra orthodox, but it's not Hasidic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
and then sadly I lost her. She passed away over a month ago, but that was my only
Oh,
connection because everyone, neighbors, friends, and everyone I was ever involved with within that movement cut me off, and I never,
Yeah.
there was no coming back.
See, I
Yeah.
don't understand, like with faiths, like how
Mm-hmm.
they lose the overriding objective of a faith, which is to keep a community together and worship God, you know.
Yeah,
And part of that is to make sure that you don't harm your fellow man, and you make sure that your fellow man
Well,
is like,
Well, this is the thing though. You mentioned before,
Yeah.
you are who you surround yourself with. Like
Yeah.
you don't want other people influencing you.
Yeah.
That's the reasoning they give behind cutting people who leave off because they don't want them to influence them or their kids or anything like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
again think it's kind of a wrong practice.
It is.
You know what? I would be in part to agree with you. I think it is the incorrect way of doing things because you, there's an opportunity to support that person and maybe even guide them back to the right path, so to speak, whatever that may be for you guys. You know?
Well, I don't know that you necessarily need to guide them back, but I think just supporting them should be like a basic thing. And again, like it comes back to we had a discussion with somebody else in here. I don't remember when this was, but he was discussing how he sends his kids to religious schools and, you know, he only wants them to surround themselves with people with the exact same view until they're done growing and they're formative, like their brain has been done developing. Now, this is the thing though, like with that, the example I brought up, there are many Muslims and Christians and other people of other religions who grow up going to public school and come out still with the exact same belief system. I think it's a problem when you only surround yourself with people with the exact same thought process because you never grow. You never have to critically analyze your beliefs and never have to
100%.
think about them.
Yeah, I agree.
So I disagree with like just
Being insular,
cutting people
basically.
off because they have different beliefs
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also trying to guide them back. I think that's like a manipulative form of friendship.
I mean,
But yeah.
you don't have to manipulate them. You just have to basically just say, look, we're here for you. This is here for you. This is your faith. You know, it's there if you want it. Basically, it's giving them the choice. It's
Yeah.
not forcing them.
Yeah.
It's like giving them the choice to make a decision and not forcing them into something. Like the brother here,
Yeah.
Ray. You know, it sounds like he was forced into making the decisions that he had to make. And personally, I'm against that kind of behavior. I think that's destructive, and anything destructive isn't from God. Personally,
I agree, Zesh. I mean, the fact is, as well, is that my relationship with my parents was never the same. Although that they never cut me off because they weren't as orthodox as as my mum's brother. It did cause a strain within the family, and it was only until my dad was in his last 18 months of life that he actually almost on the last day I used to visit him in the hospice every night when my mum wasn't there or my sister wasn't there. And he apologized to me, whether it was that point in his mind, it was a brain tumor, whether it was that point in his mind and he knew what was happening, and he said that he wished he had never sent me away in the first place.
Wow.
And that was his regret. He
that
said
just
that
gave me goosebumps.
he understood what had happened to me, and all he wanted to do at the time was because he would have been proud, because he said, oh, you know, my son is going to be a rabbi. And he, you know, not really to go to the community and say, oh, you know what, my son's going to be a rabbi. But when I used to pray on the what, how do you call in English the bima?
Okay, in the front of the synagogue there's like
a pulpit.
arch, not an arch, a large table where usually the rabbi is and like the cantor is and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not the pulpit. That's where the rabbi goes afterwards to make the sermon. And whenever I did all the prayers that you know, returning the Torah back to the holy the Aron Kodesh, the holy the ark and stuff.
Ark. Yeah.
I used to always feel my dad smiling. I could turn around and he was always beaming. So part of that as well was me trying to make him proud as well.
Right.
And I was trying to you know, I wanted him to be proud of me. So I had that always in the back of my mind, but then I kind of always felt that I let him down. But yeah, it was in the last couple of days of his life where he'd said that he realized what had happened to me, and the abuse, the verbal abuse, the control, the everything that I'd gone through, and he apologized to me.
Wow.
My mum never did, and my mum passed away a couple of years ago, and her relationship, her and I were just not. I didn't fly back from Israel until after her Levaya, her funeral,
Yeah.
because our relationship was strained, and she didn't ask for me. She didn't feel that I needed to be there, and it was only for my sister that I did.
Wow. Wow. But that's unfortunately, it sucks, but that's sometimes what happens. Like, you know, I've thought about it. It sounds terrible, but I thought about it. If my mom passed or whatever, first of all, I probably wouldn't be notified right away. But
Yeah.
also, I don't even know like how I would feel, because I feel like to a certain extent I've already mourned her as well. Like I know she mourned me, but I think I've mourned her as well and mourned that relationship. So I sometimes wonder, you know, how I would actually feel. And now I see
Yeah.
my sister just joined in, so she just heard that. But yeah.
Do you know,
But you see that leaving the community has that effect, specifically with our movements. I mean, movements. I call them movements. Maybe I'm just being too kind of polite. But the cults is that then we're denied the right to kind of mourn the people that we did love, and I did love my uncle, and I wasn't a great fan of Auntie Scheitel. I call it Auntie Wig because she wore a wig, to cover her hair for modesty.
Yeah.
So the Yiddish word for it is, for wig is Scheitel. So I called her Auntie Scheitel because she used to fall asleep on the couch on a Saturday night, and the wig would kind of slowly go over her face. So when I was sneaking back into the house from meeting some girls from the girls religious girls school, she would kind of be breathing, and all you would see with this wig be going up and down. It'd be like, and that's why she got the name Auntie Scheitel. So I wasn't a great. She helped me secularly. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have got my high school diploma, and I wouldn't have passed the SAT. But it was my uncle that I really missed not being told about it until afterwards, and not even having the possibility to even mourn.
Yeah.
And that's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
See, I don't agree with that. I think when you isolate somebody, it's like condemning them even more, if that makes sense. You know, they're already going through something tough, and you're like, see, like one thing that I've observed, and this is my observation, right? In my life, all the men are softer than the women, softer hearted than the women, right? I don't know whether or not it's to do with pride or what, but in my family specifically, all the men are really soft, right? So when you described how your dad, you know, spoke to you and regretted everything, but your mum didn't say anything, I would imagine if I did something like that, that would probably happen in my house as well, because my mum's really tough and my dad's really soft on me, and I'm really soft on my son as well, and my wife's the hard one, you know. So I don't know whether or not it's men are not as good as hiding their feelings about stuff like that when it comes to children. I don't know, but I'm sure that both your parents like wanted to communicate with you. There's no parent in the world. I mean, I'm a parent, and no, I know my son's very young at the moment, but I know right now, no matter what he does, you know, even if he's the worst person in the world, I'll still love him. You know what I mean?
No, my daughter can do anything. I mean, she's the apple of my eye. She's just my granddaughters are just beautiful, and I thank God every day for that I've got them in my life.
Same.
And I'm soft when that comes to it. My daughter hasn't made any wrong decisions. So I'm lucky that she's never touched drugs. She doesn't smoke. She drinks. She's worked in bars and stuff, you know, and after uni to earn money. But she's never been a disappointment, and I'm lucky.
Yeah,
it's nice to hear that. It really is.
And there's someone. Did they say there's someone Persian in the room?
Yeah.
Hello.
Free Sandra Cola.
Me too.
Chitore, Esmechia.
Chitore Hastid.
Yeah, Chitore Hastid. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, you're good.
No, I forgot my manners.
Yeah, it's
Man mi fahmam kami Farsi.
Oh, dude, sick.
I had an Iranian girlfriend for a number of years, and
you know how many times I hear that?
Yeah, I had it. Bro, I had an Iranian girlfriend as well. Trust me. This is
yeah. Oh my goodness.
I also have one. So.
The food was good, but the traditions, the cross between Islam and the Persian traditions,
Zoroastrian.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was and she we're still in touch, but we just when it came to the kind of marrying, I didn't really fit into her parents' idea of
Yeah, they're
what they really
crazy.
wanted for their daughter to marry. But
They're
yeah,
fucking
we still
crazy.
talk today. She moved from Mashhad. She moved to Tehran.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's where my family's from.
Yeah, and she doesn't she only wears the chador outside, and even then it's very loose. But when she's at home, her kids are watching Disney, they're watching
Yeah,
American
once
stuff.
you're at
They're
home, fucking the curtains
yeah.
are drawn, you do whatever the fuck you want.
So she got me into listening to Arash, and
Oh, dude. Do you like Benjamin?
no, I don't know Benjamin,
Oh, dude, you gotta listen to some Iranian house music.
but I like Gugush.
Oh, Gugush. I fucking love Gugush.
I love that song. Mana Medam, Bulbul Mana
Yeah.
Medam,
Yeah.
and the
That's sick.
one Mandusud Daram, the song by Arash. Oh,
Yo,
and then there's
Arash,
that
yeah,
guy.
dude.
What's that other guy? He lives in LA and he produces a lot of
The
Farsi
Black
music.
Cats guy. He makes all the
Uh,
beats for you know Hitchcast? He's like my favorite Iranian rapper.
oh, I
He's like
have
a
to look into
communist
that.
Iranian rapper. Yo, he's fucking
I
sick.
I've not been listening to the modern young stuff. I've been listening to the old
It's like
classics.
he's like the Iranian Tupac.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, Hitchcast is sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that then.
Yeah, Black Cats, the guys who make all the club music, those like they wear like the V-neck shirts with their chest hair popping out and all that shit. Like those guys make all the beats for him, but they make all the beats for like all the Iranian pop stars, rappers, everything. But they're in LA.
You had to say the chest hair.
The chest hair popping out of the V-neck, that
Well,
with the gold chain, with like the
yeah.
medallion with
It's
like
majestic.
with God on it, like yeah, with like a quote from the Quran like engraved in the back.
Isn't it crazy how people in Middle East have more chest hair than some people have hair on their head? Like, what the heck?
Dude,
Yeah.
my dad was hella bald, but his back hair was fucking ridiculous.
Oh
Dude,
my
his whole
God.
body was, it's like
It
in
becomes
Austin
more.
Powers.
Bro, too much
Yeah.
info, man. Too much info.
It
You're
becomes more
talk-
with
you're-
every
yeah.
Even the
year.
women got hair everywhere, dude. What do you want me to say, man? The
My mom's
unibrow used to
family's
be,
from Morocco. My mom's
Hmm?
family's from Morocco. The amount of times I
yeah,
have to shave my legs, I hate it.
exactly.
No.
The unibrow used to be
No.
like, you were like top shelf if you had a unibrow back in the day.
I found his name, the one I was trying to remember, and he is a really one. He's with the open neck black shirt,
Exactly, bro.
with there.
With the
Mansour.
gold chain. Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That
yeah.
guy, that
Mansour,
he has
he's not. He's about 60, but he thinks he's about 35, and he walks about with the open neck black shirt and the
If you ever watch
huge,
Shaws of Sunset, you
huge
already
chain.
fucking know, man. Ridiculous. First time I went to New Jersey to hang out with my Iranian family, like I had to sit in the back because she had to have her Dunkin' Donuts in the passenger seat. But she was blasting like house music the whole time, but it was like Iranian house music.
All right. Oh wow.
Yeah, you got to listen
Well,
to some Benjamin, man.
well, I will. I'm writing it down now, and I'm looking at all the things. But when I lived in LA and in Israel, one of the kibbutz, or the commune I lived in, or the community, I would say a village. It's not a commune as in, you know what I mean, like what I left, but it was a community, and there were a lot of Persian Jews that came to live
Yeah,
in Israel when they escaped, from obviously from the from joining the army, and they all came to Israel,
I'm a
and
Persian
I
Jew.
learned
Hey.
so much. I learned so much from them.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen is one of our most prized men. And
Yeah,
Freddie
Sasha, yeah,
Mercury, but yeah, Sacha Baron
yeah,
Cohen
I
is
know.
like the most famous Iranian Jew.
Yeah. Oh, is he Iranian? Well, I don't know because yeah, it
Yep,
must be. I know that his mum was born in Israel, but I think does she have Parsi blood?
yep.
She must have. Yeah,
And his dad is German, I
yeah,
believe.
strange mix. And then people were saying he was an anti-Semite after he did Borat.
Yeah,
I
the
love
people were saying he
Borat.
was a Zionist too, but I
Yeah.
don't think
He's not a
so.
Zionist.
I really don't fucking think so.
No, I
You
don't.
know?
I mean, when he does Borat and he's speaking to do you know he's speaking to his manager as the character
Yeah,
Borat. He speaks to him in Hebrew, and
yeah.
Ken
Yeah.
Davidian
He's
answers back
actually
in
Jewish.
Farsi. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he answers.
Have you seen his new show where it's like, what is it? This is America, where he like puts on this full makeup and everything to look like a Republican white guy, and
Uh-huh.
he like does these interviews with all these political people and whatever, and he pretends like he's a Republican, or he pretends he's like a liberal Jewish guy, like whatever. Like he does all these bits and whatever, and he gets all these actual politicians who don't know who he is. It's like Eric Andreing them, but like
Well,
politically,
he
like.
got Rudy Giuliani, and that was hilarious.
Mhm. He got a
Bob
lot of
Barr was the
people in the
funniest.
new. You should
Bob
watch
Barr
the
was
new
the
show.
funniest.
You should watch the new show. I think it's called This Is America, but you should find it. Sacha Baron Cohen new show, This Is
Yeah.
America, whatever, if you type it up. But it's very good.
Guys, him in Borat, where he goes and meets Bob Barr, where he offers him cheese.
Yeah, you're gonna like the new show if you like Borat, yeah. Because Borat is like, yeah, whatever. It's like edgy, stupid, racist bullshit, whatever. He's like
Yeah.
making fun of fucking Eastern European people, whatever. But the new show, he's like making fun of Americans and like American politicians on both sides.
Yeah.
Listen, I
And
was
like
a Sacha
exposing the
Baron Cohen
hypocrisy and
fan.
everything.
You know, he's a Cambridge graduate.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is
He's a
indeed. Yeah.
Cambridge
And his
graduate.
brother,
He's done
Yeah,
moral
we're very
philosophy.
proud of him.
Yeah,
he's got one older brother who's an academic, and another brother who does the music for his movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went to a very posh private school in Boreham Wood or Elstree, in Haberdasher's Ask School, which is a public boys' school, which is fee paying, and it's very, very expensive.
Yeah, a lot of us have that money. My family didn't, for whatever reason. I don't know. They took all our money away in the revolution. Like I think we were too rich,
Yeah.
so they were like, "Hey, we got to take some of your shit."
Oh dear.
Yeah, so there's some good carpets in there that got eaten by moths. I'm pretty pissed about that, but I don't give a fuck about no gold lighters or necklaces or whatever shit.
Well, when I met when I used to meet with Mahboubi, she would fly. I called her Mama for short, Mahboubi. She
Yeah.
would fly from Iran. The very first time I waited for her was at the old Ataturk airport,
Mm.
and I'm waiting for a flight, and I have this idea in my head that everyone that's going to come off of Iran Air flight to Istanbul would all be they'd all just look Islamic. That's
Yeah.
how ignorant I was. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I don't I'm seeing everyone coming off these flights, and she comes out. Her head's obviously not covered, her hair's beautiful, she's wearing makeup, her nails are perfect. And I'm going, what flight did you go off? And she said, well, we'll just go off the flight from Tehran. And I said, but I didn't see any people with it. And she goes, no. As soon as they head out of Iran airspace, and they go into the bathroom and they apply makeup.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck over there.
It was
Like,
so
we really don't give a
brilliant.
shit.
You've never
saw some
seen
beautiful
anything
carpets in Istanbul.
unless
In
you've
Iran,
seen
they don't give a fuck.
unless you've seen a flight from Tehran to Paris first
Tehran
class.
to
You ain't seen
anywhere.
nothing.
Yeah.
What I
me.
did see in Ataturk, and it was the old Ataturk airport, the old Istanbul. Well, there were two at the time, but where everyone that was going to the Hajj, and they were already dressed in the how do you call it when you're with the white swaddling, like
it's called the ihram.
Yeah, the ihram.
Yeah,
and that I noticed they were flying from Turkey to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And they were very obvious because there were people that were already prepared. You could see them; they were wearing the ihram, but waiting for a Tehran flight. And I'm like, but everyone's coming out as like a model. And it's like
beautiful humans.
Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. And Istanbul, we stayed in the where it is near the Blue Mosque? Oh, Sultan Ahmet area, district of Istanbul. And I just loved it. It was fantastic, and especially at 4 a.m. when it's really, really warm, and then the call to prayer comes at 4 a.m.
Whole Istanbul is praying, yeah.
It was just I just loved that. The people there were fantastic. The food was fantastic. I got some beautiful bed covers of great quality, and a guy tried to sell me a carpet at 9 o'clock in the morning outside the Blue Mosque, and I said, "Well, it's 9 in the morning, buddy. and I'm just about to kind of look through the city. Do you think I'm going to walk about with a carpet?
Facts.
And he just shrugged and he
Logical.
walked on.
Logical.